Hey everybody, welcome to Rype's free masterclass on how to learn a new language in 90 days. Thank you guys for joining us here today. Now, for those of you guys that have never heard about Rype or what we offer, Rype is the world's leading language platform that offers quality language lessons with fully vetted teachers for 1/10 of the price of a leading language school. And really, at the end of the day, our mission is to be able to connect a billion people around the world to learn any language, anywhere, anytime. And the reason why this is our mission is because we fundamentally believe that the biggest problems around the world that we have come from communication barriers. And a big portion of that is because of these languages. And because of this bold, grand mission that we have set out on ourselves, we have been able to have the honor of helping thousands of students around the world to be able to reach fluency and to be able to communicate with their family members, their coworkers, to have a new career so that they can go out and set their lives in a different way that they never could have imagined. And the success that we've had allowed us to tell our story and to share the successes that we've had on some of the major media outlets around the world. So, in a nutshell, this is a little bit about what we offer. Now, let's get to the agenda for today's masterclass. The agenda for today and for today's masterclass really breaks down into 6 simple sections. And we'll share everything from how to set proper goals to creating more time in your schedule to learn just about anything, how to remember 90% of everything you've learned, and some of the 8 golden sentences that you need to hack grammar in just about any language that you have out there. So, why learn a language in the first place? A lot of people learn languages for different reasons, but from the hundreds and thousands of students that we have surveyed, what we have come down to is 5 of the top main reasons why most people learn a language and why they should learn a language based on research and studies that have been done around the benefits. So the first and probably the most important for most people, and the one that will have the biggest impact in their lives, is that learning a language can help them build a better career. Now, let me explain what that exactly means. A study that has been done by the Euro London, which is the top recruitment agency all around the world, says that you can simply make more money and that a foreign language can add between 10 to 15% to your wage, depending on which language that you are learning specifically. And this does make sense because the world that we live in, by every second that goes by, is becoming a more globalized place. Everything from business to the politics to entertainment, everything is becoming internationalized because of the advent of technology and communications that we have today. We can simply click a button and be able to communicate or do business all around the world today. And this speaks for the students that we personally have at Rype, from spanning around 40 different countries around the world. And it just goes to show you of the power that we have. And this is why a lot of companies are now looking for people that are able to speak another language. And this subsequently allows you to be more marketable. And being more marketable as an individual and as someone that is looking for a different career, it allows you to have more opportunities come to you because of the different languages and the different communication that you can have with other people around the world. And ultimately, that means more freedom for you, because when you have more opportunities and when you have more options, you have that flexibility and more freedom to choose the path that you want in your life. Now, the British Chambers of Commerce study in 2013 says that more than 60% of companies who want to expand to other countries are unable to do so because of these language barriers. They simply don't have enough people that can speak another language that can help them get to that next level in their business, whether it's expanding to another city, to a different country, and possibly just moving to a different continent so that they can expand their business further. Now, this was done in 2013. So you can imagine in 2017 how much of an impact this is going to be and what percentage of companies are unable to be breaking through these language barriers because they just don't have enough people that can speak another language. So there is tons of opportunities that are not being grasped by so many of us because of these language barriers. And all we can say is that foreign language speakers in the future will have and already have a massive advantage in the marketplace. And it's really up to you guys to take advantage of what is out there. The second big benefit that we've researched is better health. Now, we don't necessarily mean that you're going to get six-pack abs. What we really mean is that it's really meant for our mental health. And what the American Academy of Neurology has discovered is that learning a second language can prevent or delay Alzheimer's disease and dementia by 4.5 years. Now, if you compare this to the most powerful drugs in the world, which only delays it by 6 to 12 months, that means learning a second language has that much of an impact on connecting the neurons in our brains that it can be often 4 to 8 times more effective than taking some of the most powerful drugs in the world that are specifically designed to preventing some of these diseases. And the good news here is, guys, is that what the University of Edinburgh have found, and many other different universities, is that from the millions of people that have learned a second language, a lot of these benefits have came from adulthood. Meaning, if you're listening to this right now, or if you're watching this and you are somewhere in your 40s or even 50s or even 30s, don't worry, because the studies have found that even later in your life, a lot of these benefits can still come into play. Deeper relationships is another. Now, we don't mean deeper relationships with just your family, although that is probably going to have the biggest impact. If you are part of a family that speaks another language, or if you're like me, where you began to understand a different language when you first grew up, or your native language, but eventually forgot a lot of it because you lived in a different country. A lot of immigrants certainly have that problem. Or you may be dating someone or have coworkers or friends that speak another language, or you're living in a city that does, and learning another language is really the fundamental thing that's going to be bridging those gaps that you have in your relationship. People feel a different bond. People feel more connected. They feel like they can more relate to you when you can actually start to communicate with them. It sounds really simple, but it's really that impactful. Now, for travel addicts like myself, learning another language will also change the way you are traveling. This is probably one of the most popular reasons why most people are learning a language. So many of us are depending on these travel journalists or TripAdvisor to decide where we should go visit in a country or where we should go and walk around in a city. But the fact is, the people that understand the best form of traveling in their city is the locals themselves. Just like the hot spots and the secret locations that most journalists that have spent a weekend there just won't be able to understand. And really what learning a language allows you to do is to build these authentic relationships with native speakers that can show you the places that you would not have imagined being able to see. And we've heard stories after stories from our own students where learning that language would allow them to build authentic but lasting relationships with people all around the world. Number 5 is increasing your confidence, and this comes in many forms. Number 1, it's the accomplishment itself. When you can set out to do something that you didn't imagine that you could have, and being able to really achieve that level of confidence, that level of yes, I can, will really start to translate to every aspect of your lives, where if you can imagine something that you think is far away or you think is impossible, you can always come back to this moment where you said that speaking another language, or being able to communicate with someone that you never could have imagined was possible. And this is where really what it allows you to do. And the second major aspect of this is just being able to relate and connect with people that you weren't able to in the past. So, take for example a simple language like Spanish, which is spoken by over 400 million people around the world. At least to be able to have that conversation proficiency level in Spanish or French would allow you to open up and communicate with all of these people that you could have never imagined speaking with or even building a relationship with. And that really gives you that globally focused mindset and opens you up into a completely new world that you never knew existed. Because when you're learning a language, you're not just learning the language itself. What comes with it is the culture that is bounded by the language. And this is why some of the top global leaders are also learning a language, from Mandarin to Hebrew to Japanese to French to Spanish, all around. So we've shared with you our top 5 reasons and benefits that we've taken from surveys from students to scientific backed studies and research. But ultimately, you have to figure out what gets you the most excited. What is your purpose for learning a language? Because that is going to be the way that you're able to sustain and persist through the language journey that you'll be going through. So it can be from any of the 5 that we have just mentioned, or you can decide another purpose or another excitement that you feel, something that gives you those goosebumps when you're thinking about being able to learn another language.